Garage, I'm Andy Phillips. Today I'm going to show you how to change out the distributor rotor on a Pontiac Fiero GT. Here's what the rotor looks like. Here's the rotor here. Basically, this connects into the ignition module, and then as it rotates it, you have the electric charge that comes here through the center, connects into the center pin on the distributor cap that goes to the coil. Then you have the charge of electricity that runs through here, and as this rotates, it hits the different pins along the distributor cap, sending the signal to fire the spark plugs. Okay, these are fairly inexpensive. This particular one I picked up at Advance Auto. I believe it was like $6 or $7. I'll put it at the bottom though. But let's head over to the vehicle so we can get started removing the old one and getting the new one in. Okay, here's your distributor cap here. You're going to want to remove that. It has two screws, one on each side. So go ahead and remove that, and then we're going to have to work it through here. Pull that out. Just be gentle with that. Turn that. Rotate that and get it past those lines. There we go. And then here is this is the distributor rotor. So let's get a close-up of that, and I'll show you before we pull that out. You can see that this one definitely needs to be replaced.
Okay, you can see right here, normally, and I'll show you the new one, normally you want a nice clean connection. That one's got some carbon on that, which is probably hindering that. And then this right here is broken right there. So it's kind of loose, so it definitely needs to be replaced. Now looking down, and this is straight down, so as you're coming from the trunk, approaching it right there, you want to see exactly how that is pointed for the timing. So when you put the new one in, it needs to be exact, because that's going to be the firing pattern for the timing there. So you'll see this one is approximately at a 1 o'clock angle. So that's exactly how the next one has to be put in. So we're going to get ready to pull that out, but just make sure that it goes in exactly to that right degree. And let me also stress before we do anything, and I should have said this earlier, but before you get started on working on any of the electrical, always disconnect the battery. And I also removed the fuse for the ECU as well, just to play it safe. Now to remove this, some vehicles, the distributor rotor is screwed in. On this Fiero right here, it's not, so you just have to go ahead and pull it out. So just grab that, give a nice pull, and there you go. Comes right out. And here you can see the old rotor versus the new one. You can see what I had mentioned earlier, where the distributor cap, where the actual coil piece actually connects right there in the middle. That one is really worn out and has a lot of buildup on it, where you can see here on the new one, it's nice and shiny copper, has a good connection there for the current. So let's get ready to put this one in. You can see here, that's also nice and clean as opposed to this one, which is all corroded and even looks like some rust and junk in there. So anyway, definitely needed to be replaced. So let's go ahead and put it in. As you can see, this thing's got a lot of surface rust and corrosion on it from being old and sitting. So I'm going to go ahead and clean that off here so we have a good contact when we put the new rotor, when we slide it on here. So I'm going to go ahead and clean that first. I went ahead and cleaned, you can see there all the rust off there and all the junk, and clean a little bit in here too, get some of that off. Still not thrilled with the appearance of this, the ignition module going down into here. For now, we're just going to use this one, but I think at a later date I may just replace that whole piece. But let's go ahead and get the rotor put on there. We're ready to put the new rotor in. As mentioned before, make sure that this is pointing in the correct direction of the one that you removed, otherwise your timing will be off. This particular one was set at approximately a 1 o'clock angle, so that's how we're going to put it back in, and just pretty much just slide it right down on in there. So let's go ahead and put it in. Give it a little. There we go. It is locked in place. Make sure it's nice and snug. And you can see it's pointed in the correct direction, approximately 1 o'clock. And if you come down lower, you can see it's all the way down right here. So it's nice and snug. So now we can put the distributor cap back on and put the spark plug wires back onto that. All right. Now we're ready to put the distributor cap back on, and you want to be very gentle. Just take your time. Get that in. Make sure that that's lined up properly. You don't want to damage that either. So just get that lined up. Okay. Lightly, just make sure that that's in place. It's nice. So now we're ready to go ahead and tighten that on. Well, that pretty much wraps up this video on how to change out the distributor rotor on a Pontiac Fiero GT. Please send any questions, any comments. I would love to hear from you. As always, we appreciate your support, so please like this video, subscribe to this channel. It'd be greatly appreciated, and we'll see you next time.